Hello, everyone. This is Debbie, and I am going to present tonight the Leprechaun Challenge. I'm going to challenge everybody to watch this video on how to change the questions and answers and do the formatting on this little guy because 300 requests for different topics is way more than I can handle. So I thought I'm going to make a challenge out of this and see how many people can learn how to do modifying a already formatted pixel art to the subject that they want. So this guy is already formatted 1 through 20. So we just have to go in, put in questions, answers, and then change the conditional formatting. So I want to show you a couple of tricks as I do this. I'm going to make the one that I'm doing to show you is going to be a cut and paste from another worksheet. And then I need to do a couple things like adding in columns. So I want to have another column in between C and D here. So I'm going to highlight column C, go up to Insert menu, and then click Insert a column to the right. It gives me a column with all of the individual cells. They're not merged like they were before in column C, and I want them merged. So I'm going to go back to column C, click at the top to highlight the whole column, click on the paintbrush just above it, and now you can see the little dotted lines around it. It is ready to go. The next column that I click on will look just like this one. So I'm going to click on column D, and it changed to exactly the same format that column C was. And I'm going to shrink it a little. I don't want it that wide. I want it to be small like this. So you'll see the reason I'm doing this in just a second. I'm going to do the same thing over here, though I'm going to do it a little backwards just to show you what happens. I'm going to click on column CD here, and I'm going to go up to the insert, and I'm going to click insert column to the left. You can see all these colors that moved here. That's because the formatting went over to this column. I don't really want that. So I'm going to highlight all of this and go up to the formatting menu and clear all the formatting from there. So now all those colors are gone. I don't have to worry about it. Again, I want it to be merged cells just like this one. So I'm going to highlight by clicking at the very top of this column here, go to the paintbrush, and then go back to this column, click on it, and the paintbrush does exactly what was in this column. It puts it over here. And I'm going to shrink that down. All right, now I'm going to do something. I want to pull up my worksheet and I want it right next to where I'm working. So there's a little trick you can do on a PC computer, and that is use the Windows key, which is the key usually between the function and the Alt key down on the bottom of your keyboard. And if you click on the Windows key and the left arrow at the same time, it will move this window all to the left. And it just so happens I have my worksheet up here to the right. If it was not here, you would just find it and then click on your Windows key and the right arrow, and it moves this worksheet to the right side. So now I have two working windows. They're open side by side, and it just allows me to do things a little bit quicker. I don't have to flip back and forth. So what I'm going to do on this is literally copy and paste. I have the worksheet that I got from mathdrills.com, one of my favorite worksheet websites. Gives you so many different options. And this is just very simple equations. So I'm going to highlight what I want here. And I always do Control C for copying. I think you could probably right click and click on copy, but Control C is much faster. And I'm going to go over to here and I'm going to click on Control V. Now, one thing what happens when you do just Control V is it takes all the formatting away. I don't like that. That's too much time. So I'm gonna go back and I'm gonna copy this over here again with a Control C. Now this time when I come over here, I'm gonna do three buttons: Control, Shift, and V. And when I do that, it pastes the text only of what I had copied. So this is a Control Shift V does text only, whereas just a Control V just it kind of overrides what is in the initial the document you're going to. So I'm going to do that again just so you can see. I'm going to highlight the next problem. Control C to copy, and then over to here, and I'm going to Control Shift V, and it's pasted there. Now, the reason I put this other column in is because I want to give the kids a little bit head start, and I'm going to put Z equals, and then the answer here, okay? Now you notice when I put in the answer, the color disappeared, parts of my picture disappeared. That's okay, we're going to get back to that later. So I'm going to keep up with it as I'm going because otherwise I get lost. All right. All right, this disappeared here because for some reason the text got changed to white and the text color really should be black. So there it is. All right, next equation. Control C to copy, go over to here, Control Shift V, and then we'll do V equals. All right, so this is pretty easy. Control C, Control Shift V. What I want to do absolutely the whole thing with you, just so you can see every step of the process. So I'm going to do all 20 questions, and you could fast forward if you want, or you can stay with me. But do you see how it makes it easier to have this open in the right window so I don't have to flip back and forth? I really love that trick. When I learned that from someone, it literally changed my life. Okay, you'll notice on this one that my formula kind of disappeared. It's a little too wide for the column. So I'm just going to go up to the top and make my column just a little bit wider. Now we can see everything. Another idea would be to make your font smaller. It's another option. All right, Control C, Control Shift V, D equals 59. Okay, so I actually made this Leprechaun in Microsoft Excel and did all of my formatting there because I find it to be so much easier to do the formatting. But to reformat something, I think it's easier to do in Google Sheets. So after I make it in Excel and I format everything to 1 through 20 or whatever it is, I then go and move it to Google Sheets to do any other formatting that I want. All right, again, I'm highlighting the formula or the problem that I want, Control C to copy it, go to the place I want it to be, Control Shift V, and then I've got exactly typed in there. The shift part of it allows you to put in there just the text and it doesn't affect the formatting of the box or anything. I feel like I got off, this is not T, this is P. There we go. All right, back on track. All right, Control C, Control Shift V. Well, here we go again where my column is not quite wide enough. Go to the top, select the whole column, and then just drag this little bar to make it a little bigger. All right, Control C, Control Shift V, Y equals 70. Almost done. See how quick this is? Sometimes the hardest part is getting the problems or making the problems, depending on what the subject is. This one is all pretty straightforward. If you're trying to do something like geometry or things with more complicated problems, that can be an issue. Oops, I think I did not hit the shift key there. Let's highlight this again. Control C. There we go. I don't know if you noticed when I was when I made those mistakes, I was quickly undoing them by clicking on Control Z, which is the undo button. Looks like I forgot to put an answer in up here. E equals -63. All right, so we've got everything in there. I'm going to go put this back on full page so that I can see everything. My picture's gone because I have all of the wrong answers in here. If I put 1 in here, the answer would come back, or the picture would come back. So what I need to do now is, while I have this cell selected, click on Format and then Conditional Formatting. Okay, again, that was Format and then Conditional Formatting. And that opens this window over here where it says Conditional Format Rules. And this is the rule for number 1. When I click on it to open it, I go down about the middle of the page where it says Format Cells if, and there's a custom formula, if E5, which is this cell right here, equals 1, then I want it to turn all of those cells green. But instead, I'm going to change this to an 87. And I'm done. Okay, so for the next one, when you select the next cell, your conditional formatting window is already open, so you don't have to go to Format and then Conditional Formatting again. It's just open, stays open until you close it. So I'm going to click here, go down to the middle, change this answer to a -3. Done. All right, and the next box, go down to the middle, change the number 3 to the number 70, and I'm done. And you know it's working because your boxes are changing colors here, and the colors are appearing in your picture. So you just have to go down every answer and change the end of that formula to be your answer. Okay. It really is very fast once you have the answers in there. Okay, again, select the cell, go to the conditional format, go down to the middle, change the end of this formula after the equal sign to be your answer, and then click Done. Select the cell, custom formula, change the very end of the formula after the equal sign to be your answer, and then you're done. Now this one has 2 colors with it. You have to change both of them. So just something that I did when I was formatting, I ran out of space for the peach color, so I added it into another one. So the answer for this is 9. So I'm going to go in and change this to 9. And that's going to affect all the gray ones that were selected. But now I need to do this peach one also and change it to 9. So it's perfectly reasonable. Some sheets will have this where there's 2 colors to a box. You just have to be sure and change both of them. All right, I'm on number 11 already, and this answer should be 91. This answer here needs to be -63. Now with all of these, I am putting in numbers, so I really don't have to change or do anything except change the numbers out in the formula. If you were to have a word instead of a number, then you would need to put your answer in quotes. I will show you that on another one here. Just a second, one that is easy for me to remember. All right, almost there. Okay, so this one, I am going to put the word 70 in there. And I'm going, oh, here's one with 2 colors, of course. I'm going to go up here and I have to change the end of this because it's a word now. I have to put it in quotes. So after the equal sign, quotes, 70, end quotes, and it worked. Okay, I'll do the same for this one. After the equal sign, open quotes, 70, end quotes, and it worked. Okay, so that's it. If you have the word, then you have to use quotation marks. You also have to use quotation marks if you have a fraction. And I will show you that again on another one. Because there's actually 2 things you need to do when you have a fraction. Okay, let's go back to the 71. If I had in here the answer was a fraction, let's say 1/2. If I go in, I have to use quotes on fractions as well. So I'm going to put the 1/2 inside of here. Now, nothing happened. Why didn't it work? Well, it's because this uh, Sheets has read 1/2 as the date of January 2nd, 2021. If you look up here at the formula bar, that's what it thinks I mean. So I have to tell it what I really mean. So I'm going to go and change the number format. I'm going to select the cell that I'm working with, go up to these little tiny numbers here, click on the down arrow, and I'm going to change my answer to plain text. And when I do that, it works because I have now quotations around it, and I've told the computer that this is not a date and it's not even a fraction. I've just told it that it's plain text, and any plain text inside of quotes will work. Okay, so that's how you do a fraction. I'm going to go back and actually put the correct numbers in here so that I can finish this up. Oh, I have to go back and tell it it's a number again. And actually, you don't have to change it to number. You change it to automatic. It can read numbers. It knows what those are automatically. All right. So now we are finished. We have our little guy. He's totally finished. All the answers are in there. You would want to, of course, delete all the answers before assigning it to students. Otherwise, you are good to go. All right, I hope everybody gets a chance to try this and make a leprechaun, and then we can share them all, and he will be everywhere in the next month. All right, have a good night.